Hands up if you'd like a 19.5% return on your investment. I notice Magnus Heystek's hand not have gone up yet. Well, that's what we're talking about tonight. I'm Bruce Whitfield, and tonight we look at how Cambist is able to make good on its promise of a 19.5% per year return. Joining me is the Cambist manager, Magda van der Merwe, and Brenthurst Wealth Management's Magnus Heystek. Magda, let's start with you, please. Just explain the model to me. How do you get a 19.5% return for your investors?
Cambist is not an investment. It is an online platform when you can purchase performing contracts. Cambist merely facilitates the buying and the selling of these contracts from a willing seller and someone that wants to purchase this contract and earn a 19.5% return. During the facilitation process, the seller of the contract is willing to negotiate a discount.
Who is the seller?
The seller can be actually anyone with an invoice and he needs an accelerated income. For instance, we're going to sell cell phone contracts. Then we also sell debt contracts, which can be from microlenders or any business that wants to sell their contracts on the Cambist platform.
Okay, so you don't buy the contracts, you simply facilitate a transaction between the buyer of the contract and somebody else. Is that how you get away with not being registered with a financial services provider?
That is part of it, but debt, loan and financing agreements are not falling under the
Financial Services Board.
Yeah.
But aren't you selling an investment?
We're not selling an investment, we are selling an asset. You are becoming the owner of a financial contract or a debt contract or a cell phone contract. And we don't have any ownership in any of these contracts. And we are not selling anything. We are merely facilitating the process on the Cambist platform.
Okay, who owns that debt? Because you're part of a bigger group, you're part of a group of debt collectors, of lawyers, of attorneys. There is a structure that sits behind you.
Yes, the original financial owner that actually use the attorneys, that use a one law platform to help them with the debt collection process, is still the owner of these financial contracts. So while the contracts are being displayed on the Cambist platform, it is still being owned by the original financial owner. And then someone can log onto the system and they can purchase these contracts and they become the new legal financial owner of these contracts. And then the monthly installments, instead of going to the previous financial owner, will go to the purchaser of these contracts.
How, as a facilitator, as an online platform, as the conduit of this, does Cambist say that it's the people who use this service will get 19.5% per annum?
Just rephrase that again.
How do you guarantee a 19.5% per annum return?
The return, as I explained to you, is because we get a discount while we facilitate this process. Some financial owners are willing to discount up to 50 or 70% of the original contract amount. We still collect, or the attorneys collect on the original amount, which then will give the buyer the 19.5% return.
This is all underpinned by Garnishing Orders?
It's Garnishing Order and then also cell phone contracts. So any other contracts can also be sold on the Cambist. It is not only Garnishing Order. The other reason why we can guarantee that it is a safe contract, especially for the Garnishing Order, the Garnishing Order is a very safe method of collecting on debt.
Okay, I want to talk more about Garnishing Orders in a minute, but Magnus Heystek needs a turn to talk as well. I'm assuming what you're going to do at Brenthurst Wealth Management now, Magnus, is you're going to take everybody out of equities because equities have run so hard. We're sitting with the JSE at 45,000 and switch them straight into the Cambist platform and get them a guaranteed 19.5%.
And I'll retire after that.
And you will.
Of course, yes.
What do you make of the Cambist opportunity?
Well, you know, they say if it walks like a camel and it looks like a camel, it's a camel. It is sold as an investment. It is sold with a guarantee. And that is what most people who invest in these things or are thinking of investing in perceives it to be. They see an investment. Yeah. They do not understand the black box behind the scene. They really don't understand it. I have many conversations with clients who say, but what about this 19.5%? And I take them through the process, which is not a simple one. And then they fully understand. And my question is, who guarantees the 19.5%? What is the form of the guarantee? Is it an irrevocable guarantee or is it an undertaking? We've seen in the past many investment companies coming to market with the same kind of approach. Shemax is a classic example. Guaranteed for 12% or 14%. And once you go through those complex legal documents, you understand it's an undertaking to give you 12%. And when
Is your 19.5% Magda an undertaking or a guarantee?
It is definitely a guarantee. Everyone that has purchased the contracts at a 19.5% return will get their 19.5% return until the end of that contract, because that is a legal contract that we...
But how do you as Cambist guarantee a contract that you don't own? Because you just told me that this is a platform, not a service.
Yes, we collecting, or the attorneys are collecting on these contracts. And
The attorneys or we are collecting? Does Cambist collect or do the attorneys collect, or are you one and the same?
Yeah, we're definitely not one of the same.
But you're owned by the same people?
Not really.
Okay.
Cambist is owned by One Law, which is a service platform that renders services to attorneys that do debt collection.
Okay.
So we have several attorneys that are making use of our platform. So they are the debt collecting attorneys, and they merely make use of One Law. And then One Law has a product Cambist, on which we offer some of these contracts for the buyers to purchase.
Trevor Manuel says the Garnishing Order system is fundamentally corrupt, and he would like to see transformation of it. And we know it is corruptible and has been corrupted. Is there any guarantee that the way in which your garnishee system works, or your lawyer's garnishee system, or One Law's garnishee system, whoever's garnishee system it is not corrupted?
Yes, the garnishing order issue is really something that we can have a different program about. We have just recently read an econometrics report by Rob Jeffries, which would be of real interest to you, to actually mention that all these hype in the media about the corrupt garnishing orders is not really as big as it is made out.
I talked to your rivals, and some of your rivals will tell me that there is only one way in which you guys can keep this thing going, and that is through having a swift process through the courts. Because if you stand in the same queues as they do to get the garnishing orders approved, there's absolutely no way that you can guarantee these sorts of returns.
Yeah, to get the garnishing order or stand in the queue is nothing to do with the 19.5%. By the time we put the Cambist contract or the contract up for sale in the Cambist system, it is way past the issue of the court and everything that should have gone through. So we are standing in the same queues and everything as all the other debt collectors or all the other debt collectors' attorneys. So the 19.5% has to do with the discount during the purchasing process. And then also we monitor constantly. There's a 1.53% fall-off rate of the contracts that are sold on the Cambist platform. We have a trust in which we also buy Cambist contracts, and where we keep enough capital, 10% of everything that is sold on the Cambist platform, to stand in for any of these 1.53% fall-offs. So if a contract that has been purchased by a buyer falls off, in other words, the debtor dies or he loses his job, there's a trust that will actually buy back the outstanding capital amount.
Magnus, it's foolproof.
It's foolproof.
Why do you not recommend to your customers, your clients, that they put their money into it?
Let's come back to the guarantee. What format is the guarantee? We've just heard it's just a facilitator. There has to be a contractual arrangement between the buyer of those contracts and Cambist. Now that's my question. That's where I have great difficulty understanding the guarantee. Is it a document that says, are we guarantee? And in what format is that? And that's why I have a great difficulty.
Okay, explain it, Magda.
It is definitely a contract. There's a terms and conditions for every contract that has been purchased. So I would really like to invite Magnus to come to our offices, or I can email you the terms and conditions and all the contracts. So there's a definitely contract in which where we guarantee the trust fund and where we guarantee the 19.5% return.
No, but is it the guarantee backed up with money?
It
Real
is
money,
definitely
somewhere in a
backed
bank
up.
account?
No.
Where you can take out a certificate and say, we're backing up 100 million rands worth of contracts. Here it is in the bank. That's a guarantee.
It is a guarantee. It's being audited by our external auditors. So
who are they?
Carlin.
Okay, so they're not one of the mainstream audit firms.
No, they're not.
Okay, they're not one of the big five. Okay, they're not one of the big five audit firms. When we look at this, is there a moral issue in this investment, Magnus? Because every issue, you've got to go through your personal governance process. I'm prepared to capitalize on the misfortune of others who've been put through the garnishing order system. I'm prepared to take money from the survivors, the widows of Marikana, that sort of stuff.
I'd like to put that aside, because we can have a moral debate about tobacco, alcohol,
Okay,
debt.
you're a practical guy.
Yes. My issue is that in South Africa right now, the whole collection system, garnishing orders, is under scrutiny. Government has said they'd like to change it or close it down. Bobby Gottsell has said if he was still in charge of a mine, he would say, I will not pay those garnishing orders, saying I will take them on in court. So there's a lot of uncertainty swirling around the whole mechanism of money being secured and collected, and you need one regulator, one government announcement, and the whole system could be in jeopardy. And from an investment perspective, there are just too many uncertainties for me to be comfortable.
What happens when garnishing orders? And garnishing orders have got to be reformed. There's absolutely no way on this earth that the South African government will continue to tolerate the abuses within the garnishing system. Garnishing orders are terminated. Worst case scenario for you. What happens?
Well, if you have purchased a contract on the Cambist system, that contract will run out. There will be a real problem in South Africa's legal system if halfway through a court order you can just abolish that court order and it's not valid anymore. And there will not only be garnishing orders for sale on the Cambist system. There will be lots of other contracts or agreements that you can also purchase and you can still earn your 19.5%. So we are not at risk at all if the garnishing orders were abolished.
Okay, so Magnus, your customers come to you, they're tempted by this. I get emails all the time saying, we want to put money into this thing, what do you advise? You're the advisor, I'm not.
Because I'm the advisor and because I operate under a different law, I have to say you cannot go that way.
Well, you operate under a different law. What law do you operate that these guys don't operate
Well,
under?
we have the Financial Advisory and Intermediary Services Act. It basically says, I've got to do my homework and be 100% satisfied that this is the correct investment.
Why does this not satisfy you?
It just doesn't satisfy me. It doesn't answer a lot of questions. It's not regulated. That's the first question. I'm not sure who regulates Cambist.
Who does regulate you, Magda?
Well, we are being audited by the Law Society, or we, the attorneys using our platform, are being audited by the Law Society of South Africa
But Law
once a
Society
month.
knows absolutely nothing about investments.
But they audit the trust funds.
That's not their specialization, though. These
No.
aren't people who should be custodians of investment.
Yes, and it's not an investment. And then also...
sorry, it's a 19.5% return on money. If I take 100,000 rand of my money and I put it into something, I get a 19.5% return. I have made an investment.
You have purchased an asset and you are now the owner of that asset. We also, all the clients that are using the platform through the attorneys, also send out the auditors once a week to come and do the checks and balances on everything that we do in the One Law system. And so we are being audited more than enough, more than regulatory boards of, I know you say the Law Society.
They're not qualified. They are not the right people to qualify, whether they call it owning a contract or an investment. People who put money into this see it as an investment. They get a return on this thing. Why not go through and get yourself properly registered with the Financial Services Board? Would you not cut the mustard?
I do not know, maybe we can consider that, but as I mentioned to you, we don't really need to do that. We have contacted the Financial Services Board, but we do not fall under their rules and regulations, because what we do on Cambist is not considered as a financial product. We do not give any financial advice. We do not have any financial services. We are merely a facilitator in a buying and selling process.
Last word to you, Magnus. If it's not registered with the Financial Services Board, would you go near it?
Highly unlikely.
Okay, at that point we must leave it. My thanks to you, Magda, for coming in. Magda van der Merwe, who is the Cambist manager, and from Brenthurst Wealth Manager, Magnus Heystek, who says it falls under a different legal system. My thanks to you for watching. There'll be more tonight, tomorrow. Good night.